Thank you for listening to the Talking About Football podcast. This podcast is sponsored by the NFLwire.net. If you want to keep track with any NFL news during the week, they upload multiple articles a day about all the latest news around the NFL. We are also adding a podcast every Wednesday now, too. We will be talking about fantasy football, some news that happened earlier in the week, and our Thursday night predictions. Hope you all can watch and listen and enjoy the Wednesday podcast. I'm your host, JT. Alongside next to me is Chris.
What's going on, guys?
And let's get started with the results of last week's predictions.
So, JT got his first dub of the year.
Yes, sir.
And,
I'm on the board. I'm on the board.
He is on the board. He went 10-14 on his picks, which is, I think, the most we've gotten right on the show
10 and
so
14.
far.
You're right. I told you I'd win this week.
Bro,
I told you
I'm
I'd win
so
this week.
upset. I want to go undefeated. But then I am now 2-1, and I went 7 for 14. I only got half right. I think I'm a little better than that. Personally, I feel like I'm a tad better than that.
Hey, I'll take all the wins I can get. I'll take all the wins I can get.
You would, wouldn't you?
So based off that, let's start off with our Thursday night predictions, Chris.
So this is going to be something.
Patriots and Giants.
My Giants. So I have the Patriots winning 31-17.
I think everybody does.
But I think my prediction is going to decrease for the Giants scoring. I'm going to go 31-10. And why? Saquon Barkley.
Out.
Evan Ingram.
Out.
Sterling Shepard.
Out. 3 huge losses for the Giants. That if they wanted
That's
a chance,
offense.
I know it's their whole offense. I mean, the only guy they really need to step up here is Golden Tate, who didn't do anything last week. Didn't have a good game at all. So we're gonna have to see. I think it's gonna be a rough game for the Giants, especially missing that. That's the core right there. That's the New York Giants. Those three players are the New York Giants.
That's the big three. You have Saquon Barkley out, Evan Ingram out. Sterling Shepard out. Like, I don't understand.
Those are his his 3 weapons. Daniel Jones.
Are you gonna tell me Daniel Jones is not gonna be playing tomorrow either? Like, are we just gonna sit him out and not have him play? Like, what is going on?
I don't know. It's just a terrible time for these guys to miss for the Giants. I mean, look who they're playing. They're playing the New England Patriots.
The best defense in the league.
Yeah,
You're gonna need these weapons.
Yeah, and the Patriots.
What's the score that you have right now?
I have 35-17, but again, like you said, you made a good point. I think it's going to decrease. I'm going to go 35-7. Okay,
I went 31-10.
I'm going 35-7. You know, I just don't see Daniel Jones getting the football down the field. I really don't. I mean, Golden Tate, we're going to see how Golden Tate plays. It's about time for him to step up, coming back from the injury, and it's like he didn't do anything last week. Nothing much. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. It's going to need to be a confidence booster for him. And that I think the Patriots are going to take advantage of that Giants secondary especially.
Secondary is.
I mean, listen,
terrible.
You put up guys like Janoris Jenkins on Julian Edelman, who hopefully will probably play.
Yeah.
He's most likely going to play, but I mean,
and Philip Dorsett is ruled out.
So
their third receiver is ruled out, and Rex Burkhead is questionable. So that means that if you have Sony Michel on fantasy,
and Sony Michel, I have a stat on Sony Michel.
Right, let's see.
He gained 91 yards on 16 carries last week against Washington.
And 16 carries is good.
It's good, but it's not great, but still good enough. I mean, they came off a win last week, 33-7 against Washington, and White caught 6 passes, giving him 22 receptions on the season. So they're mixing up the run game and the pass game with both these guys. So I think the Patriots come out on top on this one.
Patriots will come out top. Giants will be 2-4, third in the division, and let's just see how they go from there.
We're gonna see, and remember, it's at Gillette Stadium, so that doesn't
better.
So that doesn't help even more. Let's move on to the injuries, Chris.
So we have to start off with Ravens safety Tony Jefferson tore his ACL on Sunday. Terrible loss for that secondary.
That's bad. They need that secondary all they can get. They need every bit of that defense.
And with Earl Thomas getting fined from the hit on Mason Rudolph, we don't know if that's going to be a suspension or not.
Yeah.
And how that secondary really stepped up against the Steelers to win in overtime. He's going to be a big part of that secondary. Was a big part of that secondary.
Was a big part of that secondary.
And not anymore. It's heartbreaking to see that good of a player.
And yeah, he's a great player. Tony Jefferson's a great player. He almost, I think he led that secondary. I think he's. I
think he has more experience.
He has more experience
and knows the players
and
better.
that's great in the locker room too. Guys with experience.
So it's a very hard loss for the Ravens for sure.
Moving on, we got the Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph with the concussion. He did go to the hospital, but Sunday night he returned home from the hospital, which is good. Which is great news. Great news for him and great news for the Steelers. But Chris, Mason Rudolph got absolutely boomed. He got two guys, one from the back, one from the front. That was it. And when I saw it, it didn't look like that big of a hit.
It didn't look that bad.
It didn't really look that bad, but
I went back in slow-mo.
I did too.
Earl Thomas on
the top of his head. He was knocked out. He was out cold. He was gone. Yeah,
bro, he was out.
No, and that was a scary situation for the Steelers. But good news that he went home from the hospital Sunday night. Great news for that.
It was great news to hear that.
Good. So the Chargers placed kicker Mike Pouncey on injured reserve.
Chargers placed center
Mike Pouncey on injured reserve. Not a kicker. Definitely not a kicker.
No, Mike Pouncey's a very fat man.
Yes,
he will not be a kicker.
He is. So how does that affect the Chargers, Chris? Well, their starting center is on injured reserve.
It's really going to hurt them. And, you got Melvin Gordon back, and you have Austin Eckler. The run game is going to be
he helps open
up
those holes for Melvin Gordon to run the ball.
I think he's one of the top 5 centers in our league.
I think so, too. So he clogs that middle. He clogs it.
And with them lacking guards, he really opens up and is they sometimes even use him as a pulling center. I've seen him hike the ball, and I've seen him pull from the center position to where the tackle is. I've seen him pull. So
he's a very active center too.
Which is very
he
weird.
Can move. He moves well.
One center I can think on top of my head that moves like him is Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey has very good feet.
He moves a lot.
Yes, Jason Kelsey's feet are amazing.
Another Jason Kelsey type player who moves a lot during a lot of run plays.
Right.
So losing him is gonna decrease the running game. So if you had Melvin Gordon, I would expect even a decrease from what he did on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. But that's a big loss for the Chargers.
And so we're gonna move on. We have the 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk. He sprained his knee, which I believe when it was a sprained MCL, out for 4 to 6 weeks. Big loss. I don't know if any of you guys watched the Monday night game against the Browns, but Juszczyk is he's a monster.
He's a great player. Listen, the 49ers are a very good football team. They're legit this year. I was watching them against the Browns.
I'm sold.
I'm sold on them too. I mean, I like the defense. I like what Richard Sherman's been doing. That interception was very nice. And this is a big loss for the 49ers, but I do think they got the momentum. They're 4-0, Chris. They're on top of that division. They're a great football team, and I do like what Shanahan's doing with that team.
I love how Shanahan's doing, but losing Kyle Juszczyk, the running game is what's making that team great.
With Matt Breida, that 83 yards.
On the first
he got to 22 miles an hour on that run.
But then, yes. But who opened up that block? Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle on the left side.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Opening up 2 key blocks that went for touchdowns on runs. Kyle Juszczyk catches passes out that backfield, lines up as a receiver. He's a fullback.
He does it all.
He's the most athletic guy you'll ever see on that field.
He's the utility player of the 49ers.
And having him out, I think, really hurts the 49ers run game. So I'm very interested how.
But
to
I
use
still
Matt
like
Breida.
I still love Matt Breida.
I love Tevin Coleman. I love Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
I want to see how they start using him without their key fullback.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Moving on, the Steelers running back Jalen Samuels out for a month with knee surgery.
Massive loss.
It's huge.
And losing Mason Rudolph, you're gonna run the ball. James Conner's gonna get tired, and now
you can't rely on James Conner the whole game.
And now you have Jalen Samuels, your backup, who's been running a lot of Wildcat. He's not be able to play with knee surgery, so I think it's gonna be a big. Steelers gonna be even
out
worse.
For a month. That's 4 weeks, so
it could be even more.
Could be even more.
Could be even more.
That's just a rough estimate of what he's gonna be out for. Big loss for the Steelers.
Massive, my personal opinion. Then we have the Bucs guard Alex Kappa, broken arm, but he broke his arm in the second quarter of that game and played the entire rest of the game.
See, that's amazing right there.
He played all 4 quarters with a broken arm, but now
he's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
He made that. Bruce Arians said, no. You're going to be sitting out 4 to 6 weeks with your broken arm.
Good decision by Bruce Arians.
Very good decision.
You don't want a guy playing injured because that means he can get even more injured. And especially a broken arm. Playing with a broken arm, listen, he's a guard. That's hands-on every play with a broken arm. How do you do that?
How about this real quick? And DeMar Dotson is not going to be playing.
He's not. See, listen.
He's out.
It's going to be, and we're playing, and the Bucs are playing in London this week.
That right side of that defense is not looking good. You know who lines up on the right side for the Colts? Your former teammate, Gerald McCoy.
The Panthers. Panthers.
Yes,
Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, lines up on the right side.
On the right side. So
you don't have 2 of your starters.
So
on the right
do we
side.
expect a big game out of McCoy in London?
That's what I was going to say after this. So I think McCoy's going to have 2 sacks.
2 sacks?
2 sacks on the right side.
And the Bucs are playing in London too. So that's going to be an interesting game. They already beat the Panthers one time this year. So Panthers are going to be hungry. They're not going to we'll see what happens. So the Jaguars tight end James O'Shaughnessy torn his ACL, out for the rest of the season. Huge.
You know what? I don't think it's as big as people think it is. Gardner Minshew doesn't really pass to the tight end.
He doesn't,
but
he's
a good blocker.
Good blocker.
Very good blocker.
Tight ends are great blockers. He's a big guy. I like how I like the way he blocks. When he's not catching the ball.
I believe he played the rest of the game too, and then he was doing his media
his press conference.
His media conferences, and people saw him with crutches on. Just thought nothing of it. Thought he was limping.
See, torn ACL is not good, man.
He's out for the rest of the season. And they just placed him on IR this morning.
Yeah, so that's not good news for the Jags.
So we have the Colts defensive ends. Kimoko
Ture.
Yeah, Kimoko Ture, who is again, I know Ture, I know his last name. I don't know how to say his first name. I think it's Kimoko. But he is a very good player on that defensive line. He
puts pressure on the passer. No matter who it is.
Him and Jabal Sheard are been balling out
for that
defense.
That's a really good defensive combo, going after the passer.
He broke
putting
his
pressure,
ankle, and now he's
using
out.
that Colts blitz that the Colts like to bring. So that's
and it sucks because he's broke his ankle, out for the rest of the season, and people think, man, who is this guy? He was going to be a very young player, very good talent, and now he's out for the rest of the season.
Huge loss. So some big losses on the injury side of the league. Let's go to the news. The Saints head coach Sean Payton contract pays him close to $13 million.
Yeah, so he had that contract extension, 2 weeks ago? And, net price never really came out about how much he's making. $13 million
not too
for
shabby.
a coach. Looking pretty nice.
It is, and
really
we've
nice.
said in the last previous podcast that he's a great coach. Sean Payton's an amazing coach. Look what he's done with Teddy Bridgewater. I believe Bridgewater's undefeated. What, 3 games he's played?
Bridgewater is undefeated.
And what he's doing with that, with Kamara and Michael Thomas and that defense, bringing in Alonzo and all those guys, you know, the only thing that I don't like is their secondary with Lattimore and Apple, but that's okay because they got an offense that can score points. Sean Payton's a great coach. $13 million, I think he's worth it.
Oh, 100%. He is 100% worth that 13 mil.
100%.
So the Vikings wide receiver Stephon Diggs, after the win against the Giants, came out and said he is happy in Minnesota.
Bipolar?
Wanted to trade last week, wanted out of Minnesota, but now is very happy.
I'm telling you, this is an example what wins do for you. Like,
you get one key win.
Key win.
Kirk Cousins passes for 300 yards one time this season, and now he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? We're chilling. But remember, Stephon Diggs, you had 4 catches when Adam Thielen, I believe, had, what was it? Adam Thielen had 7 catches. 7 catches for 130 yards.
But the fact that he was involved and the fact that his team got the win.
Involved? You had 4 catches. You weren't involved.
Not really, but he was in a lot. He was not getting thrown to a lot. But I think it's more the key win that, I mean, I guess he's happy. I mean, we can't read these guys' minds.
You know, and then next week or this week he's gonna lose, and then he's gonna ask for another trade. He's gonna. It's gonna
go back and forth. I honestly, I don't know about that guy. He hurts my head.
And he's a star player, but him coming out and saying he's happy in Minnesota with a wink to the reporter. If you saw the video, I think I saw the video. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
He was like, Are you happy in Minnesota? And he goes, yeah, I'm happy in Minnesota. And then winked. Very bipolar. Very. I'm very interested. I want to see what happens with Stephon Diggs.
I can't wait. Moving on, the Broncos said that they are going to make major moves at the trade deadline. Everyone is tradable besides Von Miller.
So Bradley Chubb is
open. Somebody will scoop him up.
Bro, there's no way Bradley Chubb's available. John Elway only said Von Miller is the only player on that team that's non-tradable.
Yeah, so
Philip Lindsay's tradable?
You got to be kidding me.
Philip Lindsay, Bradley Chubb are not tradable.
So, well, I guess
or tradable. No, sorry.
Well, the Broncos are 1-4. So, are they looking to rebuild? Listen, they already got the talent.
What do you mean rebuild? You have.
That's what I'm saying. I was asking you.
He was a rookie last year. You know what? You're not. You're trying to get better. Why would you trade a undrafted free agent? He's your gym.
That's what I mean. I know.
Bradley Chubb, first round pick last year. Why would you trade?
I think he is just.
Like my thought. What is Elway doing?
First, Elway's just.
You bring a 33-year-old
Elway's aggravated.
As your franchise
listen. Elway's aggravated. He's not getting the results he wants, and words are coming out of his mouth that he really doesn't mean.
Bro, you picked up and traded for a 33-year-old quarterback, Joe Flacco. Then you picked up Drew Lock in the draft this year, who is hurt with a thumb problem, and he is not playing. You weren't gonna start him anyways. He didn't even look good, and
he looked terrible.
Like, I don't understand what is going on with this team. You have Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton. Emmanuel Sanders wants out.
Of course he does. Out. He needs
Cortland Sutton needs to go. He's very good talent, very young, needs to go to a team.
The Broncos are full of it. The Broncos are full of it. They are just.
It's coaching.
The front office.
It's front office, and you need to get rid of Joe Flacco.
You do.
I'm sorry. People may not say Joe Flacco looks terrible, but it's just the locker room presence. Some teams need a young guy. That team is young.
It is.
You need a young guy
and a veteran mixed with a bunch of exactly. Great point.
So we're gonna go right to the Bengals, and the Bengals came out and said that there could be a possible trade with AJ Green, or trade away AJ Green.
They could get a first-round draft pick.
You know, a first-round draft pick is looking really nice, but they're asking for a first-rounder.
And
they're not going to get a first-rounder.
And what's shocking me, though, is the two teams that are looking at him are already elite. Can you just imagine adding AJ Green?
And the two teams that are looking at him are the Saints
and the
who have
Patriots.
Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn, and Traquan Smith.
Yep.
You have the Patriots, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, and Philip Dorsett. Philip Dorsett's very young. Josh Gordon is the number 2 or the deep threat. You know, and you have Julian Edelman, Michael Thomas, easily the number 1. Ted Ginn, a little older, deep threat. But AJ Green isn't the deep threat. AJ Green is going to be the guy you give 11, 12 targets to that gets
the slants, the outs.
He gets everything. He does everything for you.
Yep.
Both teams already have that. You
They
have
do.
the Michael Thompson, you have the Julian Edelman.
But just to add, it's just
you're giving a first-round draft pick up, though. Do you think AJ Green's worth a first-round draft pick?
I don't.
What do you think he's worth?
Maybe a second or third.
I was thinking a third.
Third. I was leaning more of a third.
Hasn't played all season, and he's still out for another week or two.
He is.
So you're only going to get him half a season. What would you give up for half a season for a draft pick? Second's high, too. A second's high.
I don't know.
A third might be high.
A fourth?
Third maybe. I was thinking maybe
fourth or fifth.
I was thinking maybe a fifth and like a seventh.
Maybe.
AJ Green is really good, but he's 31 going on 32.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see.
If AJ Green was 29.
But we both can agree he needs to get out of Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati's 0-5. He needs to get the hell out of there real fast.
Yeah. He needs to dip. He needs to bail.
And I think he really wanted this try to go through.
Yeah. If you're AJ Green.
So Antonio Brown officially files grievances against the Raiders and then the Patriots.
Seeking around $40 million.
And that is the $9 million signing, around the $9
million
signing
bonus,
with
yeah.
the Patriots and the 30-year.
Yep, you better
or the
believe
$30 million guaranteed from the Raiders.
Yep, you better believe it.
Do you think he will get that money?
No, I don't. I really don't think he's going to get that money.
And the Patriots paid him $15 million.
They did. Terrible.
They paid him the $15 million.
Terrible.
And then
the Patriots didn't know.
He played for the Patriots for one days. He played for 11 days.
Yeah.
And he wants $9 million from the Patriots to play for one days. He won't play for 11 days. And for that 11 days, you know what? They threw $15 million on the table and said, here you go. And then he's also filing another grievance wanting $9 million plus the $30 million that he was guaranteed for the Raiders, which he didn't even show up to training camp.
I really don't like this guy. I really don't like this guy. He's firing me up.
There's a reason why he's being cut because people don't want him. Because I feel like
he's bad off the field. It's his off the field presence.
I feel like it's freaking true. I feel like he is guilty. That's why he wants all this money to
100%.
save them later on. I feel like he is guilty.
Yeah, no, I knew that all along. I thought he was guilty all along. Listen, what he's asking for is absurd. He ain't gonna get it, and I hope to hell he doesn't get it.
If he gets it, I will be.
We'll have a podcast just yelling at this guy if he gets it.
I would be.
If he gets his money, we're just gonna have a whole podcast ranting about Antonio Brown. I don't know.
Just going to the next.
I'm going to the next. I can't either. Raiders linebacker Vontaze Burfict suspension likely to be upheld 12 games. We talked about this last podcast. Don't agree about the 12-game suspension. I really don't.
My thing is you need to suspend someone for the act, not what he did in the past.
Exactly.
You can find someone from the past. You can talk to them, but you don't give the guy a suspension for what he did in the past. I feel like that's wrong. I feel like Vontaze Burfict should get the 4-game suspension, which I believe that hit is 4, and then come back, which already was a week. I feel like he should be back in 3 games and be playing, but no. I feel like it's going to be upheld.
I agree.
Which is terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. He definitely doesn't deserve that 12 games. Next, the Chiefs signed offensive lineman Steven Wisniewski.
Oh, no, Sven. Sven Wisniewski.
Oh, Sven Wisniewski.
You're fine. So their lineman, I'm not even going to say his name because I forgot, but their guard, Pro Football Focus gave him a 0% rating.
A 0 rating?
Against the Colts. They gave him a 0.
Come on.
Most players get like a 60 to 70. He got a 0.
Unbelievable.
So they're like, you know what? Well, what's the best next guard available? Sven was the next available, and they picked him up. Who's good?
Hey, I think he'll do good.
He was a longtime Eagle and did pretty good with the Eagles.
He was. Let's see. We'll see. It's good. It's an interesting.
He just joined a Super Bowl contending team, so I think he's chilling right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that you'll see that effort in that play go up too.
So we're gonna go to the Colts. Linebacker Darius Leonard cleared a play. They got their guy back in the middle. And the Colts, I feel like, could not be any more happy to have their guy back in the middle.
100%.
Cracking heads, taking names. He is a baller.
He's great. He's an unbelievable player. And he's one of the hardest hitting defensive players in the league.
He is insane.
He's a beast.
Glad to have him back on the field.
100% fan of that guy. I'm a huge fan of that guy.
I love this guy. He practiced. He said he's looking good. I saw the purple mouthpiece back in. He is looking great. I'm so glad to have him back on the field.
I'm glad to watch him play.
And you know what?
I can't wait.
Colts looking great. Offense looks great. Defense is getting there. Looks good. They played great against the Chiefs.
They did.
And then you won against the Chiefs without him, and now you have him back. What can that defense
Look out
do?
for the Colts in the AFC.
What do you think that defense will be ranked by the end of this season?
In the AFC or in the league?
In the AFC.
In the AFC, I'm going to go with third.
Patriots being number 1?
Patriots being number 1.
Who's number 2?
KC or Baltimore?
I think Baltimore defense.
Baltimore has
KC's
a great defense.
Is all right. They have a
Listen,
good pass
I'm
rush.
going 1 Patriots, 2 Baltimore, 3 Indianapolis, 4 Chiefs.
All right. Let's see what happens.
We'll see. The Bucks cut defensive back Deion Buchanan. And
he's a freaking linebacker playing defensive back. Like,
they're not utilizing him like they should be. Just
during free agency, guys, I'm a Giants fan. I wanted Deion Buchanan this offseason. I wanted him bad, and we signed freaking Marcus Golden.
Listen, being a Bucks fan, I like Deion Buchanan, but they didn't use. He's not playing his position because you got Devin White in there, and you got Levante David.
But he's a defensive back.
True.
My thing is, you should have put him at safety and have played the in the box safety.
Yeah.
And imagine you have Devin White, Levante David, and Deion Buchanan all playing in the middle. You will stop the run, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
With them, all 3 in there. Plus that nasty defensive line that you guys have in Tampa Bay.
For sure. Yep. Moving on. Let's go to our fantasy big performers.
These guys balled out.
So the Eagles defense scored 32 points. Amazing. Are you kidding me?
32 points by a defense. They scored usually 6-7 points.
Listen to this. 10 sacks, 2 picks, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 touchdowns.
What?
That breaks records.
That's insane. 10 sacks, 2 picks, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 touchdowns.
Amazing. By that defense.
Oh, my God. And so we're going to go right from that nasty defense.
And the Eagles, I think they will be one of the top 3 defenses.
They definitely could be a top 3 defense.
By the end of the season.
They definitely could be. And
keep that in mind.
So we're going to go to Deshaun Watson from the Texans.
57. Jeez.
57 points this guy knocked out.
Yep.
He went 28 for 33. That's only 5 incomplete passes.
Out of 33 passes.
Who'd
they play last week, Chris? Who was it? I don't remember. The Falcons. What the secondary letting them 28 for 33? Are you kidding me? Atlanta secondary. Are you kidding me? 426 passing yards
and 5 TDs.
Unbelievable.
That is a great day for my man down in Houston.
Wow. So, moving on, Christian McCaffrey.
Bro. This
237 total yards. 237 total rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Are you kidding me?
This guy is insane. 50 points.
50 points.
This, last week. 237 total yards. He had like 180 rushing and like 50. No. I think he had over 100 rushing and almost 100 receiving, and had 3 touchdowns.
Listen, I bet
This guy went off. This guy ran.
fantasy players that played McCaffrey were going nuts.
In one of my leagues, my boy Henry, I'm calling you out, Henry. I know you're watching this, Henry. You benched Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had 51 points.
Yeah.
He had 4 touchdowns and had 182 total yards. My boy Henry benched him, and I'm so happy because I've been trying to make a trade with him, and he won't trade with me. And then he benched him this week, and this is what happens. He goes off. I was so happy.
Yeah. Aaron Jones played great.
Dallas defense too.
Josh Jacobs scored 32 points for fantasy, 143 total yards and 2 touchdowns.
In London.
What
did we say Saturday?
We said that Josh Jacobs was going to have a great game.
We said he was an automatic start in London. All they do is run the ball. He had 143 total yards. He may have not looked very good running the ball, but he got it done.
But 2 touchdowns, 143 yards. I'll take that game out of anybody anytime.
I'll take 32 points in my pocket any day of the week.
100%.
Fantasy.
That's huge for fantasy. That's huge.
My boy Dalvin Cook, all you Dalvin Cook owners, no touchdowns, but had 28 points, had 218 total yards.
Hey, 28 points. You'll take 28 points
had
too.
over
I'll take 28 points my fantasy any day.
He had over 130 rushing yards. But you know what that means? He had 80 receiving yards. And Dalvin Cook doesn't really catch the ball very
That's
often.
huge for Dalvin Cook.
So Dalvin Cook,
that
even
is
just going
huge.
forward,
80 receiving yards.
In a PPR league.
Giant for Cook.
He's going to be a guy you need to try to get in your league.
We'll see. Will Fuller, 59 points.
This guy balled out.
14 catches, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns.
He caught half of Deshaun Watson's passes.
Half. So wait, let's go back
targets. He had 14 targets, with 14 receptions. He did not drop one pass that Deshaun Watson threw to him. Not one pass was dropped.
Wow. Will Fuller went off.
And you know what? He's the second guy. You know who the number 1 on that team is? D-Hop.
D-Hop. I told you. Remember last week's podcast when I said D-Hop was going to have a breakout game?
He didn't. Will Fuller had the breakout game, which is crazy to even
That's
think
what
about
I'm
that.
saying. Is I thought last week, D-Hop, I said D-Hop's going to have a breakout game. I had Will Fuller in my mind, but I didn't think Will Fuller was going to put up 59 points for fantasy. 14 receptions.
That's like a career game for some players. That's a career
That is a career game for Will Fuller.
And he's going to remember. But he was tackled once on the 1-yard line. I believe another one was inside the 5.
Inside the 5. So he was tackled only inside the red zone. Amazing.
He was about to have 5 touchdowns. He was yards away from 5 touchdowns.
Amazing.
Against your Buccaneers, this guy balled out.
He did, man. Michael Thomas.
He's
a great player. I really like Michael Thomas.
44 points.
Every time he catches the ball, he flexes the bicep.
Always got to.
Always got to flex the bicep.
11 catches, nothing to be
I mean,
Will Fuller kind of set the bar high, though, with 14, which is really good.
Yeah.
But then you have 11 catches, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which for a receiver, that is a great day. Yeah. That's a great day.
Yeah. Moving on, Amari Cooper, 45 points, 11 catches, 226 yards, and 1 touchdown. Amari Cooper had a good game. Great game. I'm giving a shout out to Alex Peruzic because Alex asked me whether to play Amari Cooper or not, and he ended up not playing Amari Cooper and benched him. Benched him. That's on me, Alex. And Amari Cooper had a great game. So, and I know he's listening. So,
My boy DJ Chark,
DJ Chark,
39 points,
39
8
points.
receptions, 164 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is Gardner Minshew's guy right here. 6'4", runs a 4.3. He is a monster.
4.340.
4.340 and
God.
a 6'4".
See, DJ Chark came up big for a lot of people that I was talking to. DJ Chark got them a lot of points. Good decision for DJ Chark.
Oh, breaking news, actually. Ian Rappaport just tweeted out their offensive tackle is having knee surgery out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Come on.
So now you're missing your fullback and you're starting you're starting tackle.
Tackle.
Okay, breaking. How do you feel like the 49ers are going to go through now?
I still like him.
I love him, but you're missing Joe Stanley. You're missing 2 of your tackles.
So Breida's getting slowed down.
He's not massive. But before we got the breaking news, now Adam Thielen
Got 35 points. 7 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Still more catches than Stephon Diggs this week.
And you know what? And what really surprised me was Adam Thielen got the red zone targets.
Yeah, he did. He got the red zone targets a lot, which surprised me a little bit.
Because I feel like Stephon Diggs would get the red zone
I
targets.
do too, and I feel like, and you move the ball more down the field with Adam Thielen, red zone, Stephon Diggs. Hey, the Vikings got the win.
And Kirk Cousins looked good passing the ball.
He did. He looked really good passing the ball.
And that's why Stephon Diggs wants to stay.
Exactly. Well, for now, he wants to stay, Chris. For now.
And so we got your boy, Chris Godwin.
He played a good game.
Points.
He played a great game.
I started him this week.
Got
me 7 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. Love this guy. Love what he's doing. He's going to be the new Juju. Mike Evans is taking it away and he's doing the double coverage, leaving Chris Godwin open across the middle, the end zone guy. Chris Godwin is my guy this year. He is my sleeper. Love Chris Godwin. Tell me what you think about Chris Godwin.
And I love Chris Godwin. In fact, shout out to Brian Lambetta because he asked me if he was supposed to play Chris Godwin this week, if it was a good decision or not. I said, yes, put Chris Godwin in. Winston has been hot with Chris Godwin lately. He's going to have a good game. Got on 34 points. I like Chris Godwin a lot. You know, I think he gets open. He does a great job on the slant, the out route, anything, really.
The guy's a great route runner. Gets open
great route
all
runner.
the time.
Oh, all the time. It's just Winston going to see him or not. That's the thing.
And lately, he has been.
He has been seeing him, which is good. Not enough to get the win, but a good game from Chris Godwin.
So, these were the big guys this week.
The big guys.
That happened. Now we're going to predict our guys
who's going to have the massive week. And I'm going to start with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I talk about this guy every week, Chris. Great player, outstanding player, playing against the Texans. Listen, the Texans, that's going to be a great game this week.
And the reason why I think, and we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
And the reason why I think Patrick Mahomes is going to ball against the Texans, they put up 55 points last week, the Texans.
Yes, they did.
So how is Patrick Mahomes going to stay in the game? He's going to have to throw the ball to the receiver.
Yes, he is. Tyreek Hill comes back.
Massive game for both of them.
100%. And that Patrick Mahomes is my first big fantasy prediction.
So, and one of our running backs, so we have 2 running backs. You know, we did a quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, a flex, a defensive and a kicker, just like how regular fantasy would be.
And these are our
big fantasy performers.
What we thought.
And we have Ezekiel Elliott,
which is a good choice by you. I think he's playing against the Jets. Great defense to run on. Gonna get a lot of yards. Gonna rush.
You're gonna be ahead in the first half, and when when you're ahead, you don't pass.
You gotta stomp on their neck. You gotta stomp on their neck.
Just keep handing that ball off. And Zeke's gonna get the carries. So is Tony Pollard, but I feel like Zeke is gonna have 25 carries for over 100 yards and a touchdown.
We'll see. I think he's gonna have a good game. I think he's
massive game.
He's
a big fantasy performer.
Start Zeke this week. My running back is Dalvin Cook. He's playing against the Eagles. I like Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to have a great game. I think he's going to be rushing the ball. I think he's going to get a lot of help by that offensive front. And I think he's going to be a big performer this week.
I feel like
playing against the
Eagles. Again, we always talk, and we decided to do.
Watch out for Fletcher Cox, though. That's the only thing.
And we talked. That was one thing we talked about. But Eagles secondary is playing all right. Missing some cornerbacks. Orlando Scandrick came out big last week with a defensive touchdown. But the Vikings are going to go back to what they do. I know they passed for 300 yards against the Giants, but they're a run-first team.
They are.
And Dalvin Cook's going to get over 100 rushing yards. You can almost guarantee this at this point that Dalvin Cook would get you almost guaranteed 100 yards rushing the ball with almost a touchdown. But it didn't happen against the Giants, but I think it does with the Eagles. You're going to have to hand the ball off, and he's going to get some passes out of the backfield with over 80 receiving yards last week. He gets going in the receiving game, gets going with the catches, and I feel like Dalvin Cook is a must start.
That's a big fantasy performer. Chris, who else you got? You got
we
a wide
got
receiver.
Wide receiver Julio Jones from the Falcons. He's playing against the Cardinals. Come on now. And see, why would you play Julio Jones against a team that you're going to win and you're going to run the ball? But Kyler Murray looked good and won.
He did, but listen to this. Julio Jones and the Atlanta Falcons, to start, it's been disappointing. Julio Jones still has tons of talent, great player. I still love Julio Jones. I still love the combo between Matt Ryan and him, even though it hasn't been going through. Against the Cardinals, secondary you can take advantage of, in my opinion.
And, I agree. We thought the Falcons were going to be a playoff team this year.
We did. We said that in week 1, I think.
Yep. And they have not. They've
not.
Been disappointing. They've been down in games. I feel like this game is going to be really close. It's going to be a lot of passing yards. Kyler Murray coming to his own. I feel there'd be a lot of passing yards. I feel like he would have over 100 receiving yards with around 7 to 8 catches and a touchdown. Julio Jones, this is a game that he starts to get going.
It is.
And becoming
confidence
back into his own.
Boost.
Yeah, exactly.
Confidence boost.
And starts becoming back into his own player like he's had been for years and years and years.
Yep. My wide receiver is Michael Thomas, playing against the Jaguars. Came off a great game last week. We just talked about it. He's going to be a big fantasy performer. Start Michael Thomas again. Everybody.
Michael Thomas is a must start every week.
Must start every week.
And that's why I chose him. Teddy Bridgewater's been hitting him. But the Jags keep games close with Gardner Minshew.
They do.
They do. You're going to have to pass.
You're going to have to pass.
And Michael Thomas is the number one in that offense, and I could not be happier that I had this man on my fantasy team this year.
No, he's great. Michael Thomas is a great player. That's one of my big fantasy performers.
Austin freaking Hooper is our tight end this pick. He is the number 2 tight end in fantasy. Number 2. Against the Cardinals.
He's ranked number 2. I love Austin Hooper.
He's great. But
look at that Atlanta offense.
But then they still can't win again.
That's what I'm saying.
1-4.
That's what I'm saying. Look at that Atlanta offense, but where's the wins at? Where's the points? Come on, Atlanta, where are you at?
They put up 30-something against Houston, but Houston put up 55.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Atlanta, you need to get going this week. Atlanta, this is a must-win.
And the reason why we are picking Austin Hooper for our tight end is because the Cardinals have given up the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends.
That's very true. I saw that this morning.
Yards.
Good point.
Yards. And Austin Hooper has been looking like the number 1 on that offense.
Yeah, he has. Flex for me, Chris Godwin playing against the Panthers. Again,
it was either Chris Godwin or Aaron Jones who we were really thinking about, but
we were thinking about it, but I had to go with Chris Godwin.
More consistent.
Jones. He's more consistent. I think every week. Well, I mean, do you think Chris Godwin's a starter every week?
Well,
it depends who they play.
No, it depends who you have. On my fantasy team, I have Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. So
you're starting them over Godwin, which is under.
And Godwin is my flex right now.
Godwin is your flex. Godwin's good flex.
Against the Panthers. I think that's going to be a Panthers.
Chris, real quick, we'll talk about our picks for this Sunday on Saturday.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Who wins this football game in London? I don't know.
I need to do a little bit more research.
I got to do more research. I was
but-
just asking you an
but
early
on the-
question.
on
You
my
don't have to
mind-
answer it now.
Oh, you know what? I'll give you
Just
an
a
answer right
rough
now.
estimate.
I'll say Bucks. Bucks look good. Bucks look great. I'm choosing Bucks win this game against the Panthers right now. But we're gonna go right to our defense, and we have the Ravens. Why are we picking the Ravens? Well, they're playing against the freaking Bengals offense.
Yeah.
That's
This
why we're
was my defense, too. I really love the Ravens defense.
This is why we're gonna
Playing
choose the
against the
Ravens. I don't have to say one.
They're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals,
That's
too.
the only reason why I have to say.
They haven't won a football game.
Bengals.
They haven't won a football game, Chris.
And then you're gonna choose Harrison Buckner from the Chiefs as your kicker. against the
That's my
Texans.
kicker against the Texans.
Yep. And you know what? You're just gonna pick him as your kicker.
Harrison Bucker.
Why? Because the team scores a bunch on the Chiefs, and you're gonna play against the Texans, who you gotta score points against. And when you score points, you know what? You get a PAT. You know what? That's a point for your fantasy team, and they score a lot of those.
They do. They really do. Yep, they do. So, Chris, I have a bet for you.
All right. Oh, your first bet of the year.
My first bet of the year.
Let's hear it.
Going back to the Thursday night football game, Brady throws for at least 400 yards.
Ooh, that's a big bet.
It's a big bet.
I think
we'll see Saturday. I am confident with that bet.
So you think Brady throws for 400 yards? So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
400 yards
For Tom.
for Mr. Brady.
Yep.
Is a
100%.
bet. And you know what? I'm gonna make a bet with you. I'm gonna say Sonny Michel rushes for over 150 yards.
Oh yeah, that's I could see it.
So we have our bets, and we're gonna leave that for you guys to know Saturday.
And that'll be interesting to see. And that's going to wrap it up for our Wednesday podcast. Remember, we're going to have a podcast every Wednesday and Saturday now. So 2 podcasts a week. We thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you guys for listening. We thank you for all the support. And hopefully you guys can keep listening. And we thank you guys
Spread the
again.
word, guys. Spread the word about this.
You know, go subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. Follow us on Twitter. And
if you guys want the news that comes out immediately, I know personally I do. I upload all the news that is on this podcast.
NFLwire.net.
You know, I on NFLwire.net and on my Twitter. So instead of reading an article, you can just follow my Twitter, and all this information is already on my Twitter. So it may be a little easier for you guys instead of you guys writing down and trying to figure out all this stuff for your fantasy team. Come on to my Twitter. You'll have all the news you need to keep you guys up to date every single day. I tweet out a bunch every single
100%,
day.
and we do our best to keep you guys up to date, and we hope you guys enjoy, and we thank you guys again. We'll see you guys Saturday.
Yes, we will. Hope you guys have a great day.
You too.